Hi there, so I'm in Broadmoor in Surrey. I am north of Leith Hill and south of Wharton House, or south of the A25, and today I'm in the search for a secret waterfall and the site of a long forgotten and long lost Palladian mansion. The journey starts down this road. So if you were to walk past it on your way from Wharton to Leith Hill or the other way, you might see this waterfall and think, oh well, actually that's probably something to do with John Evelyn's Italian Gardens up at Wharton House. But if you go and have a look in your Pevsner, written about 1970, doesn't mention any waterfall. And then if you go and look at any of the 4 volumes of John Evelyn's diaries, doesn't mention a waterfall there either. So what's the story? Well, the story is actually more fascinating than the waterfall. The Hanseatic League, that conglomerate of northern Baltic and German coastal towns, including Danzig, Tallinn, Riga, Hamburg, London, they had a representative in London called Theodore Jacobson, and Theodore Jacobson was a wealthy man. He visited Dorking in the early 1700s, came across this beautiful secluded valley, probably on his way either to or from Leith Hill, and decided that he wanted to build a home here. And so from 1724 onwards, he starts to buy packets of land in this little valley. By 1740, he'd built what became known as Lonesome Lodge. It wasn't a small lodge, it was quite substantial, and I'll show you some pictures of it soon. He lived in Lonesome Lodge until 1763, and he would die in 1764, 1762 perhaps. And from then on, Lonesome Lodge went through a series of owners until in 1831 it was sold to a chap called Thomas Horton Harding, who's the villain of the story. He was a bit of a womanizer and a bit of a gold digger, and he basically let Lonesome Lodge fall into disrepair. So much so that by 1840 it had been sold to the Duke of Norfolk, and by 1854 it had been dismantled and all of it had been sold. You know, the various pieces, the slates off the roof, the timbers, the stonework had all gone. And now if you come along this valley, there's nothing. There is nothing. There's some ponds which Jacobson built, and then they run into the waterworks at Wharton House. And Pevsner really liked Wharton House, but he loved the Italian Gardens. And so that's why people probably look at the waterfall and put 2 and 2 together and come up with 5. But anyway, by 1854 it had been dismantled and gone. There's nothing here now. I first came here probably about 2012, and it wasn't as overgrown as this. I can remember it just wasn't as overgrown as this. And if it's been raining, then you get a much better flow of water, because the water comes along the top of this hill from Tillingbourne Springs, just below the summit of Leith Hill. So it comes along in a brick-lined leat all the way along the top of the valley and then cascades down about 60 foot here. But again, it doesn't look anything today, but if you were to come when it had been raining for a while, it does look a lot better. Broadmoor's a bit of a funny place. It's at the end of a single track road. There's no through road, there's no shops, there's no pub, there's no church. There's a plethora of, you know, ganz verboten signs, don't park here, illegal, no entry, that kind of thing. And it's just not the friendliest place. Very pretty, but not particularly friendly. So if you would have been here 200 years ago, you would have seen a pretty substantial Palladian villa, classical in design, probably looking a little bit tired, and within 20-30 years it would have been derelict and ready for demolition. And I always think, had the Palladian villa, that it was actually a mansion, not been demolished, what would this little valley look like now? you know, inevitably it would be a National Trust place. There'd be a huge car park, there'd be a gift shop and a cafe, and the little single track road that comes from Wootton House would have been expanded, and this whole area wouldn't be the very secluded, remote, unspoilt little valley, but it would be a tourist trap. So if you are going to come and take a look at the waterfall, do it after a period of rain. And then there'll be some flow and it'll look a little bit more spectacular than it did today. The best place to park is at some of the Leith Hill car parks. If you're going along Wolven's Lane, it's not too far from Wolven's Lane, and there are kind of cut acrosses, so you can cut across pretty easily. You can tell that the locals get pretty pissed off with people parking down here. Your call at the end of the day. But yeah, do come along and take a look, and also do look for the history of it. The book from the Capel History Society is fantastic, really, really interesting. Take care, and I'll do another Surrey Hills short soon.